As always, Ted kicks off. Who do you have as your winner of the weekend?
Lewis Hamilton
How about
with his
that?
ninth win at Silverstone, a new record. Pretty
I
impressive. Holding off Verstappen.
I went to Silverstone, Kings of
What's it
Leon.
like?
It's kind of in the middle of nowhere, honestly. And I went to Kings of Leon Playday concert to open that weekend there at Silverstone. Fantastic crowd, had a blast. Got to see George Russell. Didn't see Lewis Hamilton. I was hoping I'd see Lewis Hamilton. Saw George Russell though. But yeah, Formula One's a big deal over there, man. There's so many people. There's like this giant festival. It was super cool. We thought about staying for the race and all that, but dude, we've been gone so much this month or these last couple months. We needed to get home. So we ended up coming home on Saturday, and I'd figured one of the British guys would win the race, you know.
Yeah.
That's a lie. I thought Verstappen would win. I mean, come on. But hey,
Right.
always fun to win your home race.
Yeah. No, it is. And I think what is it? Schumacher had the record before and now Lewis Hamilton has it. So that's awesome. And it seems like things are going better for Lewis Hamilton this year. Quite a bit
I
better.
yeah, Hamilton is that guy is a rock star over
Yeah.
there.
I saw all the clips because as I was looking through and I saw that he won and all of like the crowd shots of people watching in bars and everything around there. Like that was a big one. There were a lot of people pulling for him to win that.
His first win since 2021 at the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix.
Wow.
That has to feel good, man.
No
Home
doubt.
race. It's been a while since you've tasted the sweet, sweet nectar of victory. You do it in dramatic, like comeback fashion. Ooh, that had to feel good.
I guess he was pretty emotional after the win. I mean, you're right. That's a pretty long drought there to go through, and there've been some ups and downs, but it seems like they're in a much better spot. So good to see him get the win. Maybe that's gonna trigger something there with him.
104th Formula One victory. It's a lot, man.
It's a lot of
A lot of
wins.
wins. All right. Who do you have as your loser of the weekend?
Now, this has been a while, but I had to get your thoughts on this. The men's national team
Oh, boy.
in the Copa America, not a good showing.
Yeah. That's an understatement. Like, for one, I was starting to get really excited for the World Cup in a couple years.
Yeah,
It's gonna be a massive deal. I'm gonna try to go to a game somewhere. Haven't decided which city we're gonna try to get. Like, I got to check that off the bucket list. Got to check it off the bucket. We are hosting a World Cup. Well, we've got the World Cup, and then we're gonna do the Olympics.
right.
I, gonna be able to knock both of those off the bucket list. But damn, man, I don't feel good about the World Cup. Now we're in because we're the host nation, but that was we had an easy group too.
Easy.
They
I
handed
don't
us an easy group and we couldn't get out. What do you do? Fire Berhalter? Like, what do you do?
I don't know. I guess I have like a more why has there been no acceleration? I mean, there's good players from the US that are playing all over the European leagues. Um, I mean, the talent has definitely gotten better, but I guess I don't understand why the national team really has made during my lifetime. I don't feel like they've made any progress at all. Maybe even regressed, if that's even possible.
We lost to Panama
I
in a
don't know.
sport. We lost to Panama in a sport. I
Yeah,
I I am not. I'm not going to pretend I'm super dialed into the American soccer scene. I'm just not. Like I know
I'm not either.
Pulisic. I know some of the big name players, but I don't know. It's just not as big of a deal here, man.
I know.
And that's
I
why it's not, it just, it feels like it, even though it feels like there's been more effort into developing younger players in the country, like, and the money they're pumping into that. I don't know. It just feels like the gap is so big and I don't want to sound defeated, but it just feels like we're never going to make it up with how important this is to other countries around the world.
okay. I agree if we were talking about like maybe we never make up the gap with, with Brazil, with France, with, some of these places that have, I don't know how long the jump start on us was, but a very, very long time. But we're talking about a country of, I don't know, close to 350 million people, and Panama,
Panama.
Uruguay, like,
Panama.
come on. I can't. It's weird. But I don't have the answer. I don't know. There's probably a simple answer out there, and people that are dialed in could tell us, but it's like the only sport that we can't keep pace in.
I it, and the men's national team, like you've got the women's national team
Mm-hmm.
and all the success that they've had in other countries around the world. They're investing more in women's soccer, and like the gap is closing. There's no doubt. But the women's team has just been dominant for so long, and then the men's team has just been, I don't, can you even call it mediocre?
No.
Below average? Like I don't even know how to describe the program as a whole, but it has been extremely underwhelming. And they had this opportunity, Copa America. I was watching the games. They were on Fox.
Yeah. Prime
Easy to
time.
find. Stumble upon them. Like, oh, awesome! I want to watch some men's national team. Let's go. This is sweet. Great opportunity to build some momentum for the World Cup that we're hosting in 2 years. And now I
Maybe
feel like we feel worse about it than ever.
maybe it's one of those any publicity is good publicity. And I mean, people are talking about it again. I mean, not in a good way, but I don't know what they do moving forward. Like, it doesn't seem to me like, and I'm sure there are some strategy issues that I can't pick up on, and that people would say like the coaching is the problem. But my goodness, it's got to be deeper than that, right?
I feel like you and I are on the same page with this typically. Coaching absolutely matters. Strategy absolutely matters. The way that you structure practice and your training, like that stuff, there's no doubt plays a big role. But at some point, it's the player's fault. And that's where I'm at with the men's national team. You guys can blame whoever you want. We've blamed coach after coach after coach. Berhalter, what? I think they said next week they're going to decide his fate. They're going to fire him, right? They have to. But
Probably, yeah.
the players are the ones not getting it done. Like
Yep.
Berhalter's just standing there in the jacket on the sideline. We're in a polo, like just, pointing. At some point, it's the players, man. And it feels like a soccer thing, just worldwide. You blame the coach. It seems like that's who you blame if things go wrong. It's like you just blame the coach immediately.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel the opposite. Like players got to step it up. Got to
That's it.
play better. We need better players.
That's it.
If they
I,
can't get the job done, find guys that can get the job done.
yeah, it's interesting. Like at some point, and I know the comment is always, well, the best athletes in the U.S. They don't play soccer. They play, 4 or 5 other sports before you even get to soccer. But I mean, to a degree, I think that is kind of a cop out. There are plenty great athletes in the United States to go around, and there are plenty of guys like there's good athletes out there. Like soccer's a skill game. above all else. I mean, obviously, when you marry incredible athleticism with great skills, that's whenever you get the great players. So, we have good enough athletes on our teams. The skill set is just isn't there, and until maybe you see a guy become like super famous, like we've had a couple of guys kind of flirt with that. But until you see that and see that there's an avenue to make a ton of money in that sport, then I don't know that you're ever going to get the buy-in that you need for the skill development. But I
We
don't know.
need
That's just a theory.
this is what we need. We need the NFL to continue to devalue the running back position. And then
Yes.
we need to take those guys that would be NFL running backs and get them into youth academies and make them soccer players. What do you think?
It's a great idea. I mean, they're all going to just start playing wide receiver though.
Damn it. But
But
take like
you
the 5'10" ones.
it's a good theory. Yeah. Yeah.
But I don't know. But all I know is we just went bull riding, Formula One into soccer.
Wow.
Look at us.
That's showing some range there. I don't
Some
know if that's a
serious,
good thing or
some
not.
serious versatility. All right, let's finish up with my winner and loser. But first, y'all need to go to chubbyshorts.com right now and buy some of their awesome shorts and use code breakdown for 20% off your order. I've been rocking their original stretch shorts, rocked them all over Europe, Ted. Looked good, super comfortable, stretchy, perfect length. I go with the 7-inch, 7-inch inseam. Now, I'm kind of a taller guy, so go with the longer ones, but they've got 4-inch and 5.5-inch if you're trying to show some more side there, bud.
I
Yeah.
like it.
Yeah.
I
Shorts
like
are
it.
great. And there's a reason those shorts have put Chubbies on the map. You can pair the original stretch shorts with their lineup of Friday shirts. Pair those two. Now you're cooking with gas, people. From casual button downs to retro inspired prints, these shirts are built to kick back, chill out, or party down. Also, guys, you can never have too many swimsuits. And you need to check out Chubby's classic lined swim collection. They've got tons of ultra vibrant colors and patterns. They're built with a quick drying 4-way stretch fabric, elastic waistband, and anti chafe mesh liner. Even got the zip pocket on the back, Ted. And would you look at this? For a limited time, our friends at Chubby's are giving our listeners 20% off with promo code breakdown at checkout at chubbyshorts.com. That's 20% off your order with promo code breakdown. Support our show and tell them we sent you. Just don't blend in with the crowd. Stand out with Chubby's.
And head to opolisclothing.com for our podcast merchandise and the best OU gear out there. That's OPOLIS clothing.com. Use promo code TED, TED for 10% off. That's opolisclothing.com. Use promo code TED for 10% off. Buttery soft and 10% off.
Winner of the weekend, Dan Lanning.
Mm,
I thought about going with Wimbledon. I went to Wimbledon.
pretty sweet.
It was awesome. I had an incredible trip to London. Saw Kings of Leon at Hyde Park, saw him play a concert at Silverstone. We stayed at a hotel right off Hyde Park. Then we made our way out to the English countryside. Dude, it was just an incredible trip.
That's
Kids had a
awesome.
blast. It was my son, my oldest could not get enough of riding the tube and the double decker buses. Oh, Ted, he was in heaven.
Oh, that's awesome.
It was
I
great.
bet that for a kid riding the double decker bus is like the greatest thing ever.
Oh, yeah. You just wanted to. We asked people to move out of the front seats so that he could, and to their credit, they did. And he could not have been happier. Just the biggest smile on his face. But wife surprised me. We went to Wimbledon, watched Djokovic play center court at Wimbledon. It was incredible.
What's it like in person? Is it like, does TV do it justice or no?
It was it's unlike anything I've really ever been to. And I've never been to a big tennis tournament like that. I've never been to the US Open. I've never done it. Tennis is an interesting sport, man, as a spectator. I I'm glad I don't have any buddies that are like big time tennis players because I'm pretty sure I'd get kicked out like every time. because there's this quiet and there's this cheering, but it doesn't get too rowdy. Now it was a first round matchup, so maybe it does get. I would
Yeah,
assume it ramps up the deeper you get into the tournament, but it was just an efficient machine, food and drinks, man. Oh, it was great. I highly recommend it to anyone that wants to go. We had an absolute blast. You're not supposed to take any kids under 5 into center court. They thought my 3-year-old was 5, so we took him in, gave him headphones. He was loving it, dude. It was awesome.
that's crazy. What a week to be in London, huh? They got a lot going on.
I We got it all in. Did the sightseeing. We did everything, man. Hit the Churchill War Museums. We went straight tourists for the first half. They did the London Eye. We did it all, baby.
That's
And
awesome.
it was I've I got some sweet Wimbledon merch.
I bet.
Black on black hoodie. Oh, I
Ah,
bought the one piece of merch that doesn't have the Wimbledon colors on it because of course I did.
well, that's what I was thinking. As soon as you said that, I was like, I figured everything would be like a bright white.
Just white and purple and green. I was like, give me the
Yeah,
black on black.
that's pretty cool.
But incredible trip. One of my favorite vacations ever. It was awesome. Dan Lanning is cleaning up though.
Yep.
Oregon is they are the West Coast SEC team. Is how it
Yeah.
feels.
Hmm.
And they got a commitment from Dakorien Moore, the number one wide receiver in the country. He is a top 5 player overall. Duncanville, Texas. And Lanning and Oregon staff, they go in and beat Texas to get him. Now, long way till signing day. Who knows what happens? But this is, he's arguably the best player in the state of Texas in the class of 2025. And for Oregon to go into the state of Texas and get him, Ted, that is it's pretty impressive stuff.
Yeah. I guess maybe that's become a little bit more common as national as recruiting has become, but that's still a coup, especially
Yeah.
with Texas now in the SEC. You could hang the well, Texas is in the Big 12 and A&M, like for Oregon to be able to come in there now, especially considering the latest SEC move with Oklahoma, Texas, and pluck a player like that. That's they've got a lot of firepower out there at Oregon, and it's going to be interesting to see. Last year they had a really good football team. We'll see what happens this year. Like they should be pretty much right back there at the top, vying for. It's so hard to say, but Big Ten championship.
Yeah. You think about with Dylan Gabriel, quarterback, all the talent they have on both sides of the ball. They're going to be right in the mix. They're going to be right in the conversation with Ohio State and Michigan. It will not surprise me at all if Oregon is ahead of Michigan in the Big Ten media poll, preseason media poll.
It may come down to quarterback play. You
Yeah.
know, you're catching Michigan after they had a first round draft pick at quarterback. Ohio State is, they're in portal mode, and they went with Will Howard, which I don't know that I would necessarily say that Dylan Gabriel is a better, like he's an efficiency machine. Dylan Gabriel is, with the experience that he has. And would you look at what Bo Nix did last year? I don't know if people recognize the year that he had. He had like 77% completion, I think 45 touchdowns and 3 interceptions, and then added, close to double digit rushing touchdowns. Like, I don't know if Dylan Gabriel's going to replicate those type of numbers, but I bet he'll be in the ballpark.
Yeah. There's a reason he's one of the preseason Heisman favorites.
Yeah.
Everyone thinks he's going to fit well into that system. And when you look at the Dakorien Moore situation, I, I think a lot of people are enjoying the freak out of Texas fans that took place afterwards. And that it is interesting because Texas is coming off of college football playoff trip.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to the SEC. It seems like they've got all their NIL stuff in order. And let's not forget, man, they've got Arch Manning. and Moore
Yeah.
still chooses to go to Oregon. So
Yeah.
I understand why Texas fans are surprised. They probably had to feel like, hey, all you put all of that together, we're getting any wide receiver we want out of the state of Texas.
Yeah.
It's just a reminder that you never know, man. NIL has changed the game. Oregon's got some momentum. Lanning's a hell of a recruiter. Like it's hard to figure some of this stuff out sometimes.
No, I agree. And it's interesting with Texas, and I'm sure they're still in on a bunch of the really big names out there. I mean, I know they are, but you look up there at the top of the recruiting rankings right now. Oklahoma's right there, around 5, depending on what service you look at. But like Ohio State, Georgia, most of the teams at the top, they got 20 plus commits. You know, this is like the high point of recruiting season. It feels like it gets harder and harder to get the commitments as you go on, and obviously the herd is thinning as you go. Texas is, I mean, I think they're back, near 20 or so, unless they've had a couple of commitments here over the
They're
holiday
at
that I don't.
19 as we're
19.
recording this. They're 19th in the 24/7 sports composite. They only have 13 commits.
Yeah. So, I imagine they're going to be hitting on some guys as you come down the stretch here, but it is an interesting spot they find themselves in right now.
Yeah, they have, for lack of a better term, whiffed on several big time prospects over the last couple weeks, and their fan base. They're not melting down, but I do think they're pretty surprised that when you combine everything that the program has going on right now, all the positivity that it has not paid as many dividends on the recruiting trail as I think they thought it would.
Yeah.
But
See
college
how it
football is what
unfolds.
it is right now, man.
Yeah, we'll see how it unfolds. Like I imagine, like I feel like you're going to get a boost whenever I imagine Texas's game day atmosphere has probably struggled like Oklahoma's has because of matchups and the fact that they've been pathetic for a decade, so that factors in too. But like the move to the SEC, like in the kickoff times for recruiting, it should give Oklahoma and Texas another burst, like for people to come see what these environments are going to look like.
Oh, there's no doubt. But credit to Dan Lanning and the Oregon Ducks,
They're rolling.
currently ranked fifth in the 24/7 sports composite recruiting rankings. Only 15 commits, but the only team that has a better average when it comes to ranking for their commitments is Bama. Bama is at 94.11 and Oregon's at 94.10.
And
And that's
it's
with them
interesting,
moving to the Big Ten.
right? The interesting thing about Oregon is they've also done really well in the transfer portal. And, you kept hearing this from some schools that they were going to start taking less high school kids and the transfer portal was going to be a bigger thing for them. I wonder if that's kind of what Oregon's doing and maybe even Texas to a degree with some smaller classes right now. Like you said, they don't have only have 15 commits, but the average player ranking is really high. So I wonder if that's kind of their philosophy right now.
I,
Quality over quantity.
I think I think it's reasonable to assume that if you're a program like Oregon or a program like Texas or a program like Oklahoma, if you're any of these schools in the Big Ten or the SEC, that you're going to be a very attractive destination for guys, for big time players that are going to want to transfer in and play in let's be real, just the two best conferences.
Yeah, I think just to add to it quickly, especially after the 12 team playoff, whenever you're going to have, I would guess, the majority representation, like it's going to be another factor on top of it.
No doubt. All right, for my loser of the weekend, I'm going with the rest of the NBA because we got Hartenstein, baby. Hartenstein. It's Stein, right?
Stein,
Steen? I heart. That's what we're calling him.
Hard. I like it. I like
And
it.
he's officially a member of the Oklahoma City Thunder. It's always a good day, Ted, when you sign a 3-year, $87 million contract. Had to feel good for Oli Hart. That's got to be a very, very good feeling.
That's crazy. It's just I still have a hard time wrapping my head around some of these contracts for. I mean, how long ago was it where a 3-year, $87 million contract would have been by far the biggest contract in the game? You don't have to go back that far at all.
No, it is pretty crazy. Like that was, I mean, that was like a max deal not too long ago.
Oh yeah,
That amount of money.
you're knocking on the door 30 million a year. I mean, that's yeah, for sure.
But I, I think the money had a lot to do with him picking Oklahoma City. But in his media availability after he signed, he mentioned multiple times the opportunity to expand his game. And it's something that Sam Presti talked about as well. And Ted, I went down an iHeart highlight reel rabbit hole, found a mixtape of his passes, his best passes
Ah,
from the 2023 season. Guy can pass. Guy's got great vision. I mean, so I'm interested to see how they use him kind of as a hub, maybe with the second unit, doing some stuff in the free throw line area. Like he has showed the ability to do that. I found a little highlight package of him shooting this little push shot, this little floater from like 6 feet. Beautiful. Love it. This is a guy who I think he picked Oklahoma City because of the money, but I think he also thinks that he's got a little bit more to his game in this 5-out style that the Thunder want to play. I think he thinks that he's going to get the opportunity to show a little more. And I'm excited. It clearly addresses the size and rebounding issue that was, the number one issue for the team this season. Guy's a great rim protector. You pair him with Chet in some of those lineups when they have both those guys on the court. That is elite rim protection. But man, I'm fired up. I'm fired up for what the Thunder did in free agency. I'm fired up just with where this franchise is headed, man. And I think that Hartenstein's I think he's a fantastic addition.
who's he remind you of?
Ooh, do you mean as like a? Do you mean like a guy we've had in Oklahoma City?
No, not necessarily. Just the style of play.
Style of play wise, ooh, that's a tough one because he is. I mean, he's 7 feet tall,
Yeah.
which makes it. I mean, it's hard to compare him to. I'm trying to think of a Thunder guy that he would remind me of, but dude, I really don't have anything. Like, I don't think we've had a guy that really does all the things that he can do. Like, have we had a like Steven Adams was incredible at what he did, but I think let's go. Are we really going to call him iHeart?
I don't know.
Is that going to be an actual thing until we
Probably.
find out if it's Steen or Stein? I think it's Steen, but I I mean clearly you think about the big guys we've had in Thunder history, he's more skilled than Steven Adams, he's more skilled than Kendrick Perkins. We really haven't
Yeah.
had any other notable bigs, have we?
Not that jumps off right away. Huh. Well, that's kind of why I was trying to think like trying to picture the impact, but I whenever you look at all the different pieces, I mean it feels safe to say like at this point we're not very far into the offseason that the Thunder have gotten quite a bit better, right? Which is hard to do considering where they were.
Yeah, you think with the Caruso edition
Mm-hmm.
and then iHeart, you re-sign Wiggins and Isaiah Joe, you draft Topich, which we won't see him till next season, but The Dylan Jones guy is pretty intriguing. And there's a lot of people that are really high on the AJ Mitchell pick. But yeah, I just don't think there's any doubt that they are a better basketball team right now than they were at this point a year ago. And they were the number one seed last season.
I know. Yeah. Exciting.
I,
And I think you're still going to get, not only have you added pieces and re-signed and then the draft, but you're still in a phase where a lot of these guys are they're not peaking. They haven't peaked yet. So you're still getting development out of Shea. You're still getting development out of Williams. Still getting development out of Chet. So whenever you consider that as well as adding in what they've added, feels like it's been a great offseason.
I've thought long and hard about the comp for iHeart. If he can develop an outside shot, Brooke Lopez, pass, rim protector, can
Mm-hmm.
space the floor. Like, once again, if he shows the ability to space the floor, comfortable with the ball in his hands, maybe doesn't have the low post game that Lopez had, especially early in his career. But I'm just trying to think of giant guys
Yeah.
that kind of have similar movement patterns to him. I don't. That's really the best that I could come up with.
No, I like it. A well-rounded big guy, what we needed.
Yeah, and I think that it'll be fascinating to see if he like will he start some games? Is he going to come off the bench? How much do they play him with Chet? He's going to bring so much value to the team by allowing Chet to not have to guard the other team's big guy all game long, and that because that I think that wore Chet down and it affected his offensive game.
Yeah.
So I think that's going to be a large role for him. And I don't know, man. I'm really excited about the moves. Clearly got to stay healthy, but it's hard. It's hard not to. I think the Thunder are going to be the preseason betting favorite in the West.
Wow.
I really do.
I,
I don't
I
see why they wouldn't be.
I'm I'm with you. It's kind of it's jarring whenever you first hear it, but whenever you just kind of take stock of what all happened, look at the season, the way the season ended, and what they've done since, I kind of hard to argue with.
Resty is pretty good at what he
He's on
does.
it.
The only thing I do want to talk about real quick, iHeart had his media availability. Okay,
Okay.
it feels ridiculous to call him iHeart. Like I just Hartenstein, right? Or is it Stein?
Hartenstein.
Hartenstein. I He said that Westbrook was one of the first guys to text him, and that he said, and this is what he said. He said if he needs anything from the O to text him. Has anyone ever heard of Oklahoma City or Oklahoma be referred to as the O? And do we need to start doing it? Because when he said it, I kind of loved it. I kind of hated it. But then it started to really grow on me. Could we just refer to Oklahoma as the O?
I don't know.
I'm a little torn on it as well.
I don't know. Even if you're just talking about OKC, the O, I'm gonna have to play with it a little bit. I'm not
Okay.
sure yet.
That's where I
It
was at.
seems uh, I don't know.
Does it feel a little forced?
It feels forced. It almost feels like a text shorthand more than like a new nickname,
Okay.
if that makes sense.
The O. The O. I don't know. Give us a couple weeks.
Now, are we confirmed that Westbrook said that, or did he
He said that's
maybe?
what Westbrook said
Okay,
in the
okay,
text.
all right,
So we'll
all
think on
right.
it. Give us a couple weeks, maybe a couple months. We'll revisit
Pl-
it.
Play with it a little bit, see what happens.